One day I'll be living in New York City, and Cuomo still ain't getting no pussy. Welcome back.
That's a good one.
We'll give you two guesses. The main topic of today's video. Don't look at the title. That's cheating.
Mm-hmm. The title we haven't thought up yet.
Yeah.
We're talking about our main man, Zohran.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Zohos.
Our Muslim brother. Oh. It's white boy jihad summer.
I'm just gonna start saying shit. Okay.
What?
Just the most problematic shit ever.
No, white boys came through for him.
Jihad, the jihad part.
What's
That's
jihad? Is
That's
fine.
fine.
We're coming fresh off of a primary win. It turns out progressives can win Democratic primaries.
Big dub.
Yeah.
The
Who'da thought?
DSA. There's the DSA candidate. That's crazy. The DSA finally did something.
The DSA finally did something.
Well, they've been around. They've done stuff. But this is by far their biggest thing. This is the biggest win for them. That's crazy.
What, they got Zohran, they got AOC, like...
Do they have AOC?
Yeah,
She's-
yeah.
Queens? Which section is
Yeah, no, she's New York, but
yeah.
I didn't know.
I don't
if
know about
she's-
them. I don't know
Yeah.
specifically that group, but in general, I mean...
Yeah.
Pretty sure Bernie and Zohran, right?
I don't even think Bernie's associated with the DSA.
I don't think specifically, but like they pretty much run as socialists,
Yeah, no, DSA is like a specific group.
I know.
though.
I'm in there.
What? You're not a member
That reminds me. I gotta pay that fee.
for the DSA?
Yeah.
We don't have a DSA chapter.
Not yet.
We could start one.
In America?
Well, eventually, when Zohran does Sharia law across the United States, we'll all be in the DSA. I heard New York's in shambles, by the way.
In a good way.
Well, maybe. I've heard they all got to pray like 5 times a day now and stuff like that.
Stop misinformation. Just a bunch of doomers. Just a bunch of Republican ass takes.
I heard they're hunting down conservatives in New York right now.
they're taking the guns.
Yeah, they're putting them in camps.
That sounds kind of nice. Yeah, so for the first time since like November 4th, 2024, I would dare say use the H word in our country. If you know anything about what's been going on, specifically the word hope can return to your lexicon because the Democratic Socialists, a young Muslim immigrant, ran and won to represent Democrats for the general election as mayoral candidate in New York City.
I was telling my mom about it, all excited, and she was like, "This says primary," and it's like it doesn't matter.
That's the race.
Let's discuss that. Like, do you think what's the odds that you think Eric Adams can still win?
To be honest, a poll came out today putting Zohran at 73%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
And Adams at like 20-something, Cuomo at 4. So, probably pretty good. I will say Cuomo now sounds like he's not going to run in the general. That's kind of the vibes he's giving off. Actually might be worse for Zohran.
Because Cuomo and Eric Adams would have split the vote.
Yeah. Whereas Cuomo is probably not taking too much away from Zohran. So, but who knows how things will shake out. It might not even make a difference. He won in such an overwhelming fashion that hard to see anybody else winning that general.
Yeah.
Good shit, though. Nobody expected that last night.
Hope.
What, the people to win over the money?
Well, no, nobody expected it to be done last night. Like, they thought he just won outright. But they all expected it to actually go to the ranked choice votes, and actually have to like start eliminating candidates and stuff to get to the 50%. No. He just won outright. Like, that's crazy. People thought they were going to have to go to, like, the 8th or 9th round to get a winner. They thought he was going to be, like, that close.
The people have spoken.
It gives off the AOC vibes, obviously, from like 9-10 years ago, whenever that happened. She was way underranked over who she won against. Ended up winning in a landslide, and it kind of shocked the system. And now she's been a mainstay ever since.
The part that keeps me hesitant is this has already happened with AOC in the past. Like, it's obviously good that it happened again. It shows that it's reproducible. It shows that it wasn't a fluke with AOC, but, like, I'm not 100% like this is going to change everything and we're going to get, like, the best candidate on the, like, through the primaries for presidential, but it's a step in the right direction. Progress.
To me, this is bigger than AOC, though, because with AOC, she's just running for her one tiny little district or whatever in New York. This is all of New York.
Yeah.
And it has so many bigger implications. Hakeem Jeffries, New York. He's from New York. His district is, like, tiny as well. Like, he won his primary with, like, 20,000 votes or something. Like, primary Hakeem Jeffries. Get him out. Chuck Schumer is New York senator. Get him out. Someone primary him. Like, there's so many implications for this, though. Like, just
it represents as a possible stepping stone on where to go next. And it's like, yes, you can look at it as like that's not a guarantee, but we're finally moving in a certain direction. And like you said, it goes even beyond what AOC was able to do because it's all of New York and it's in the year 2025. Where it felt like everything was flipped over its head. Like, you can't get the youth vote, you can't get males, you can't do, like, literally the way how Zohran won, the way how he won, and also the way how he ran as a candidate was the entire antithesis of how established Democrats said you can't run. You can't be pro-Palestine. You can't just outwardly say you're progressive, you're a democratic socialist. Like, you can't say these things and think you can still win and run and off of that and win. And he won on all those plaintiffs and won outright. You know, so he's, in a lot of cases, in a lot of ways, and I already seen some people say this, that it's giving off more so Bernie vibes of like, this is a true path to the future. Now, the only sad part really is, and this is thinking way down the line anyway, is like Zohran can never run for president because he's an immigrant. But even still, you have tons of people nationwide all over the place, his age, our age, that think just like Zohran, and this can be another step, another example to show that you can do it.
There's a part of me that wants to say those same rules say Trump can't run for a third term. How positive are you that Trump is not going to run for a third term?
That's fair.
Clear out all those rules, age requirement, everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Jihad.
I'd take a dog as president at this point.
There's some dog that has won mayor, like, I think 2 terms in a row or something.
How old is he? He got some good years left in him.
I don't know.
That's a resume. That's
It
a track
is.
record.
He's got some experience.
He's won twice.
It's good stuff.
Mayor for his 7-year life.
No, I do love how so much of the campaign against Zohran was Israel focused, and the whole time it's for one, that's insane. He's running for mayor of New York, and he keeps getting asked questions about Israel.
When you go to a mosque and all of that.
Yeah, well,
Or not, you know.
they were asking
visiting
Cuomo when he
Israel.
went to a mosque,
Yeah.
but and he couldn't answer, which was funny. He was like, I'm gonna check the stats on. I'm gonna check my calendars and see. I'm pretty sure I've been to one, but I don't want to say for sure. It was like kind of a wild answer.
What? He is black. He is gay. He
Yeah.
is Muslim.
I am a fucking bum. I do. No, but to ask the mayor of New York if they want to go to Israel is fucking insane. And then everyone's like, oh, but there's all the Jewish people that live in New York. And it's like, yeah, but they're living in New York. That's the thing is every Jewish person in the world is allowed to live in Israel. you are allowed to just move to Israel. You are given dual citizenship to Israel as a Jew. But they're choosing to live in America. They are living in New York. Like, it's insane that you should care about Israel in this context. Like,
Yeah.
and his answer's perfect, too. Like, he did not shy away from that issue at all. He just kept going, like, Israel has the right to exist as a state with equal rights.
By chance, did you see, were you able to see, like, Zohran on Stephen Colbert a couple of days ago?
No, I did not.
So, just because, listen, Cuomo ran a very lazy campaign based off his name value that's existed for decades. And it was a lock like a month to 2 months ago that he was just going to be mayor and stuff like that. So he just ran on the most base levels of racism, just saying he's a Muslim and also he's anti-Israel. He's anti-Semitic just because he's not pro what Israel's doing to Palestine, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the main two things plus his inexperience, right? In any case, because Zohran is Muslim and because of him being pro-Palestine, inevitably Stephen Colbert brought up, like, do you believe that, like, Israel should, has rights to its own, like, country, state, whatever the fuck. And he was like, yeah, of course, like, but I also believe in that everyone should be given that same level of right and respect and everything else. So he didn't ask that specifically towards Brad Lander. Because he was also on, they like interviewed at the same time Brad Lander, the guy who's the third person in the race, really. There's like 6 people in the race or whatever. But Brad Lander is a Jew, and Brad Lander is super progressive, and he and Zohran endorsed each other, basically, of like, we're doing ranked choice voting. If you pick one of us 1 and 2, just don't pick Cuomo. And he didn't ask that specifically to Brad Lander in the same way. Because Brad Lander's a Jew, so of course, what's he gonna say? So it just goes back into that level of like anti-Muslim hatred that we've been feeding off of for a good 2 decades. Mm-hmm. Also, this overconflation of if you're pro-Palestine and anti the acts that this, Netanyahu's doing in Israel and stuff like that, then you're automatically anti-Semitic. That overconflation narrative.
Oh yeah.
All of that, and he handled it perfectly. So.
The whole well, for one, like, obviously a bunch of people have come out and attacked him since then, but the attack they're using on him is that he's a Muslim socialist. It's like, that is just the most racist like framing you can possibly use. If you use that for anybody else, like any other ethnic group, you would like obviously get called racist, but for Muslims it's okay.
Just fear mongering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's been waiting for Donald Trump to speak on this because it's gonna be hilarious when it does happen. He finally tweeted about it earlier, and it was kind of disappointing, to be honest. He didn't have like a nickname or anything for him. He's called him by his name. The only thing he did say was he called him ugly.
Huh?
Yeah, he called him ugly. He said he looks terrible. It's like the one thing universally you can agree on, that like he's a good-looking dude. And he said he looks terrible. That was the insult. Kind of insane.
Yeah.
I was hoping for something good. We talked about it earlier. Like, Kami Madani is right there. He didn't use it though. But no, obviously everybody's like come out. Charlie Kirk had a racist tweet. Margie Taylor Greene had a tweet where she put like I don't know any of the terminology, but she put like the like Muslim robes over top the Statue of Liberty and said this the Statue of Liberty now or something. Like, God, fucking great. Good stuff. No, white boys came through for Zohran in a big way.
Yeah.
I do actually think it was his biggest demographic, like plus over Cuomo, was white males, I believe. Like, that's insane. It's like maybe it's always that way in New York and I just don't pay attention, but kind of crazy. Asians too, he was like big with.
Yeah, he won pretty much all of them except for I think white women. White women went Cuomo.
Black men too.
And black men, yeah. Let us down.
But
Thanks, Jay-Z.
yeah. Wait, Zohran opened one of his speeches with the Jay-Z quote too.
As he should.
Yeah, sure.
The GOAT right there.
No, he's not. But
Nah,
Which
but
quote?
fuck Hakeem.
it was allow me to reintroduce myself. That one.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Well, he used to be a rapper too. I'm sure. You
Wait.
probably knew that.
Zohran did.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a rapper. He has
For
like
real?
music videos. Yeah.
What was his name?
I don't remember, but
I'm down to see these.
he was literally like he was selling mixtapes on like the side of the street for a while. Like that was his job.
That's why I want to represent me, a battle rapper.
Right. course.
Zohran Mamdani used to be a rapper.
Yeah.
You got his name?
Channel for Zohran Mr. Cardamom.
Mr. Cardamom?
Yeah, Mr. Cardamom has gone viral since the NYC election. Mr. Cardamom. All right.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a spice or an herb?
Probably.
I have no idea. I saw one of his videos earlier. Someone posted.
Rolling Stone, Zohran Mamdani had a 2010s rap career as Mr. Cardamom. That's funny.
From my understanding, they weren't like the greatest raps ever. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Well, he is not doing it anymore.
Yeah. He gave it a shot though. He said it was like one of his like dreams when he was a kid though. It was just to be a rapper.
You think his music is copyrighted?
I don't know.
Zohran wouldn't copyright that.
He's a socialist.
I was about to say he didn't want no.
He has a song from Disney,
I don't know.
Queen of Katwe.
No clue. I just knew about his rap career in the abstract. I haven't engaged with it.
1, 2.
We have to acknowledge, by the way, this is a great way to segue us back to like some serious points about how much like we are fighting against right now, or like it's seemingly like you're fighting against 2/3 of the political populace, not just Republicans, but also established Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Those fuckheads hate Zohran so much because if you didn't know this, there's a difference between leftist socialism, high-level progressives, and the rest of the Democratic Party. You know, established Democrats that basically are Republicans, but slightly flipped.
I feel like the best explanation came out about 5 years ago, where it was like Republicans will say no, Democrats will say no, hashtag BLM, heart emoji.
There you
Like,
go. Yep.
same answer, just wrapped differently.
Andrew Cuomo had millions upon millions of donors, both pro and anti-Trump, whatever you want to say, pumped into his campaign within the last couple weeks to the last month or so, all to take down Zohran Mamdani, and still did it anyway. Like, no billionaire wanted him to win because he's going straight for the billionaires, straight for the establishment. None of them wanted him to win. That's why so many like of these centrist Dems, like publications such as say, CNN and shit like that, have so many people on there already dogging the win, saying it was like impossible. But even still, what's he gonna get away with? You got, some of us on this couch watch The View, which is very like centrism, centrist Dems, and some were very much championing it, but others had their reservations once again. Because it's like, oh, he's inexperienced, whatever. They always have like a million reasons to go against progressivism.
Yep.
Who's the best member on The View?
Sarah Haynes and Whoopi.
Okay. Yeah,
Sarah
one of us
Whoopi's
watches
still
The
on
View.
it?
Yeah.
That's been, how long has she been on that?
Decades.
Yeah.
Her and Joy Behar.
Is it, I don't really know. Is it just like feel-good liberalism?
So don't nod your head. So
I like how you said one of us watches The View as if it was like a question. Now we're just asking you questions about The View.
So The View has one of the largest audiences in all of like daytime television, if not the largest audience, even now. And it does reach across the aisle, but it plays the line of like centrism, does lean harder left, of course. Like logically so, but like at the same time, they're not like the most progressive people in the world. So like whenever things come up, whether it be AOC, Bernie, whatever, they always have certain reservations about certain ways how they want to think or do things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the ladies on The View are also very open. Now you choose to talk. Are also very open-minded.
He's not a fan.
Like, for instance, Sarah was down for Zohran.
Okay.
Sarah's the best on the show. The most pure soul on all of the...
Is it like you'll see the stories of like little kid did a lemonade stand to pay off his classmates' lunch debt, and then like the liberals take that as feel good, but then the progressive socialists come in as why the hell are young children paying to eat? Are they the type of like take that at face value and take it as like a good story of like, oh, he raised money?
They're taking that at face value. That's
Yeah.
all they're doing. Unless someone challenges them on that.
What do you think the demographics of The View are? Do you think it's just millions of like people like you just all watching The View?
I'm probably like less than 2%, less than 1% of the View.
What if it came out though? It's like 50% of The View's audience, young black males. You just think it's like women's TV, and it's like, no,
That'd be amazing.
it's white women and black males.
I wanted to point this out though when we were talking about Zohran's rap career though, because I was scrolling through and I just saw the articles about it. This was gonna be like my segue to getting it back serious, was just the fact that New York Post, Zohran, NYC mayoral candidate, once rapped about his love, quote unquote, for Hamas terror funding group Holy Land
Oh, hell
5.
yeah.
Holy
Do you
Land
think that's
5.
real?
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, that's what I mean by the
Shit.
establishment tried, New York Times, all the establishment tried to down this man, and he won anyway.
Damn.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that was real?
The View's biggest viewership demographic is women 18 to 54.
Why did you look that up?
Well, I knew that. I figured, if anything, I did think it would be women like 30 and up, though, 30 through 60. But, yeah. I mean, I knew that. It's like the number one daytime talk show.
Does it specify white?
No.
Okay. It's white women, though. We all know.
Mostly white women, of course.
Yeah.
Black women watch The View.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
What? What? I don't get what I. Whatever. No. Our boy in Staten Island though. Cuomo still won Staten Island, but he did pretty well there. He was only down like 4 or 5 points last I saw in Staten Island. That's where all the cops live. Crazy. Yeah, it's like the most conservative part of New York.
It's easily the most racist part of New York.
But now we're calling it Stalin Island.
Jesus.
It's Stalin Island from here on out.
I mean,
And we're replacing the Statue of Liberty with Mao.
Just, again, getting back to the implications, if you can win here, if you can win in New York, and then, especially if Zohran's able to, let's say in the next couple years, get some shit done, like really getting things done, and that is the stepping stone. That's the launch pad. First off, he can never be president, so we can't even take it that high if we wanted to.
never say never.
True as well.
Yeah, we'll
But-
put him in there through force.
You know,
He doesn't even want it.
We killed the president, Zohran. You're the president now.
It's you, buddy.
can you be vice president if you're an immigrant?
Oh, yeah,
You should.
Speaker of the House?
yeah. Every office except president.
Yeah, so he could be vice president,
Yeah.
and vice president is second in line.
The best thing though is that he's not the right age. So we're like, hey, we got you the presidency, but you're not really the age yet. So you gotta hold off on that. That's like our hold up, is not that you weren't born here, but it's
Okay, what if
because you're only 33.
what if Trump gets rid of all of the requirements and then unalives, and then those requirements aren't there anymore?
Yeah, what about it?
That reminds me of a funny tweet.
Do we really think he's not going to go for the third term?
No, I'm right there with you. He's definitely coming for that. That's definitely gonna happen.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
I saw a tweet though that reminds me of a tweet of someone being like a pro-Trumper being like, I want what's the name? I want Trump to be president for the rest of his life, and then someone else retweeting that being like, I want that too, but in wildly different ways than you.
Yeah. I mean, there was just the No Kings protest. That was the biggest protest in U.S. history. The No Kings. That's pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a U.S. citizen, I think you should be able to be run for president anyway.
I don't think you need to be a U.S. citizen.
Okay, that would be wild. Just you come here and you just now are president.
Yeah.
Well, for one, I think borders should be open, but I think I think citizenship is like its own thing, its own like unique thing, and I don't think requiring citizenship is inherently like a negative thing. I think if you have a country that having a citizenship status is like could have some value. Not saying like
they'd have to win still.
Well, yeah, no, for sure, but I just think like I don't know where I'm going with this, but there's value with citizenship. Not saying political, just in general though. But I don't know.
You got to win still.
For sure. But like essentially if let's say we did have open borders and then you just had like 1 million people cross over from like some country or whatever, and then just immediately they just like institute their own like laws and rules and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But why would they just do that?
A lot of immigrants
Why
are
would you not,
right-leaning.
though?
What'd you say?
A lot of immigrants are right-leaning.
Rough.
I'm saying if you were just able to cross into our border and like immediately change our laws the second you were able to, like you would. If
Oh,
you
like
could.
run for office and then change the
Yeah.
Oh. I see what you're getting at least.
Like I
To a
still
degree.
think there's value, and not just for that, but I think there's other value in having citizenship like requirements. for
Comment below if
certain
you
things.
think he's on bullshit with that statement.
I just explained a valid reason to have citizenship
So you're against Zelensky 2028?
in the U.S.
Yeah.
What?
Fix our shit too, please, and thank you.
What the fuck?
Zelensky 2028.
Where is that coming from?
Are you against it?
I think I would be. Yeah.
Why?
I don't think he's like that far left leaning. To be fair. Like.
I don't know any of his politics.
He
Okay.
wears long sleeve shirts to like meetings.
What's that have to do with anything?
He's dressed business casual. That
I
tells
think-
me everything I need to know.
I
about
think
that
he
man.
became cool
Zohran
with gay
wears
people.
suits everywhere.
I think Zelensky became cool with gay people after the fact.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think
they
he
were,
ran on it, but I think
No.
that changed like once he was in
No.
office.
That's the thing is Ukraine was very anti-LGBTQ until the Ukraine-Russian war because they needed to garner support from Western countries, and so then they started opening up LGBTQ laws.
Hey, if it takes a war.
No, I mean like, and
Unless someone invades us, I'm not cool with gay people. Oh shit, they're invading us. No, happy Pride.
and to be fair, like relations had been getting better there over the last like 20 years or so, but yeah, they weren't great. But yeah, they immediately changed their tune on it.
It's funny to me how many
I'm
things.
cool with it.
It's funny to me how many things like when we're kids and we're just indoctrinated by certain ideas. Like you just think it to be logical and just and stuff like that, and then you become an adult and it's like certain things just don't make fucking sense. Like, why do I have to pledge allegiance to the flag? Fuck the flag. Why do we have to be
We're gonna be pledging allegiance to a new flag here soon.
Why we gotta be 35 years old to be president? Like I'll put it to you like this: there's no age limit to being any politician, and those fuckers that are running half of our country making certain decisions like aren't even cognitively sufficient. Like there's so many other things at lower level positions besides politics that you just can't do, or you would be ageism wise not looked at as the most befitting candidate, but they're running our fucking country. Why don't we, like, they literally nothing about their culture and the lives they lived even apply to us. So with the exceptions of a Bernie Sanders out there, why the fuck are they even running? Why are they allowed to run? Why don't we put an age limit instead of an age restriction? You know, certain things just make less sense when you're an adult. So it's funny how that all comes back around.
No, we do have quite a few senators who are full on geriatric. Like,
Oh yeah. Quite a few
Oh,
is
yeah.
an understatement, you know. And they run the country that is filled with people like you and me.
Today, U.S. House member, the oldest one in the House, I'm pretty sure, Democrat, of course, announced she was gonna rerun too.
Yeah,
She's
don't
like
you love
88
that?
or 89.
What we need in this life now is something we've talked about in many ways since episode 1 and through the weeks and stuff like that. You know, in the doom period. You know, now we're in hopium era right now.
I sure hope we're in the opium era.
We're gonna hope we're in the opium era. Is that you need the radical change. You need the full on shift. But as the cliche goes, it starts with whatever us, like the youngest generation coming up. And to be honest with y'all,
We're not
we
young.
ain't even the young generation anymore. It's crazy to even think like that.
Those young ones scare me too.
The younglings of tomorrow, even more so than us, will decide where we go next. So you have to win the future through the youth. And what I'm getting at is you need your Zohrans out there. You need your AOCs. Bernie can't do it forever. That man is going to turn into dust soon, okay?
Are we looping Greta in this too?
Fucking yes. You need Greta, Zohran, AOC, Kat Abu Ghazaleh, Cameron.
Bernie.
Fucking Cameron.
I meant to add this too. We definitely need age restrictions on people though.
Like a max?
No, the minimums.
Why?
You're not getting these 18-year-olds in office.
I'm not saying 18, but like
you
a
imagine
28-year-old?
a TikTok run
A
campaign.
30?
Do you
I
not
could.
think David Hogg would be a better like senator than like whatever fuckhead senator we have like in any corrupt fucking state?
I actually don't. His politics aren't like that progressive, to be honest.
You're operating off the assumption of he would be
better than most. He would be better than most.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like youth. The point is youth. Most relevant politics to right now is what we need. I don't care if you're on one. I mean, obviously, I care if you're on one end. I care if you're on one end of the aisle or not. But ultimately, youth should win out. And right now, none of the people that make any decisions in our lives reflect our current community at all.
I do see, what is it, Icetown from Parks and Rec?
I haven't gotten that far.
Oh. The one guy in Parks and Rec, before the show takes place, he got elected mayor at like 18 and made horrible decisions and everything went bad. I could see a situation like that happening where if 18-year-olds can run, it could go bad. But like, what is it for president? 35?
Yeah.
I don't think we need 35.
30 for reps and senators, I believe.
Works
or
for
28 for reps.
Let's do 28.
Might be 25, actually.
If we bumped them all down
5-year
one,
increments.
if we went down the row and like bumped
20,
president to
25,
Senate,
30.
Bump them down.
The thing that scares me is if you potentially could just have like completely online run like candidacies.
Do we avoid that with our current system? Do we not get celebrity politicians right now?
Also, look at the negatives of what we've got so far.
What?
Like, I would rather have more politically engaged young youth across the board via social media starlets and campaigns, however they look across the aisle, versus what we have. Like, you're so disconnected from your general governors and senators.
I think that adds to that
and state officials and stuff like that. No. If everybody was young, you know what I mean? They'd be influenced by the current people.
I'm just saying, like, you get a very young candidate, someone fresh out of high school, no real political affiliations or activism or anything like that, and like just the potential to run like an online campaign is just.
And now they're in charge of a half dozen budgets that they don't fully understand.
But whereas like with Zohran, he had a very online campaign, but then you see him, they had a huge grassroots like on the ground movement. They knocked on 1.5 million doors. He walked the entire island of Manhattan. Yeah. Like it was a very ground focused campaign and social media was just a tool. Like
here's my thing. So like first off, I do agree that like okay, it's an understandable amount. Like there's so many reasons why you wouldn't want to put an 18-year-old in charge of like a fucking city or a state. I understand that.
Maybe a ward.
But where we're at now does not constitute us like putting geriatric human beings in charge. It just doesn't.
Yeah, we don't need 90-year-olds running the country.
Like, and you can say that sounds ageist. I would back up the evidence that their reflections of society and the world does not reflect any of our own. It's that simple. so they can get on with themselves. They can
There's
get out.
so I don't to gain immigration status, you have to pass a test, and to be honest, most of the questions are arbitrary and not important. But I would be in support of some sort of test being put against people running for office. Like, what's the average rent here? Get it within 5,000. You know, like you don't got to be dead, or well, you don't got to be dead on, but like
You
like
just guess 0 and you're right.
well, or like 2,500, whatever.
Sure.
But like like issues affecting the average person. Like if you can't list minimum wage, get out of here.
No, that I don't know why, but that just reminded me. Obviously, there's all these like centrists and stuff. Actually, we kind of talked about it. The Pod Save guys actually had like a little bit of a coming to, yeah. But another guy on Twitter, Matt Iglesias, I think is how you pronounce it. He's like a big centrist Dem or whatever, and he was against Zohran for like this entire time. And then, so he's been talking shit about the campaign the whole way. And then yesterday he was like, "Oh yeah, big shock in the most liberal city and the most progressive city with these demographics. Of course, like, is it really that surprising? A socialist one, like trying to downplay its effects on a national level. And it's like you were just talking shit the whole time about how this wasn't gonna work, how you can't do."
Funny how the tune switches up.
Yeah.
What you guys have said has come to pass to a degree, at least in New York, in terms of it's accelerated to a certain point that it's gotten like insufferable, like the things that Democrats just allow to get away with, and then they've disillusioned their base, and people have given up on them. Now that leads the widened gap for progressivism, Democratic Socialists, to just slide right on in there and be like, I'm just gonna hit you straight where you live and about the things that matter most to you that you care about.
I've heard, allegedly this is insider information, but I've heard that your mainstream Democrats think that what is happening now on a national scale is just like the pendulum swinging. Like they think that it's just all going to swing back. Like, oh yeah, we're having a moment and then it'll come back to where it is. Fully ignoring all the signs of fascism that we are heading straight towards. Which kind of explains how we haven't really had any response to the current administration from the major Democratic Party. It's just all the progressive outliers, speaking out against it. But yeah, centrist Dem seems to fully believe that this is just a moment that will pass and we don't have to do anything. Just stick your head in the sand.
That's because even if they're disillusioned enough to think that that's true, the consequences don't apply to them anyway. So they can just keep on trekking on. It doesn't matter. As you said, like months ago, they were like, if this same sort of loss presidentially would have occurred on the Republican side, they would have ousted like everyone immediately. Instead, Dems just gonna do what Dems do.
Let's try the same thing again next year.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect them either way anyway.
I like how we reinforce that I'm just always right about stuff. Thank you.
Anything relevant to add to what we were talking about?
No.
There is
Right.
there is the take that mainstream Democrats don't actually want to solve anything. They want to be able to run off of it the following year. So if they solve it, then they have to find something new.
Boom.
I don't know how much I believe that. To a certain degree, it probably is true. I don't know what percentage, but
Yeah, growing up is realizing the Democrats are like just the same as Republicans.
Yeah.
They just run on different shit, but they also equally don't give a fuck about you. That's simple. That's what growing up is. I used to think they cared about us differently. I don't believe that now.
no.
Yeah, like Chuck Schumer took till this morning, I think, to say congratulations to Zohran. And his thing was pretty milquetoast. Hakeem Jeffries actually sounded more excited in his tweet, but he has to. Like, this race has way more implications for Hakeem Jeffries than it does Chuck Schumer. But my boy, Brad Lander. White boys rise up, man.
Boy, what'd he do?
No, just him sticking by Zohran.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
No, he is the GOAT.
Yeah.
I want him to primary. In his district, what's his name? Goldman. I think that's the guy that runs in his district. Primary that motherfucker. Or primary Schumer. Please, Brad.
Our favorite Jews right now: Sam Cedar, Jon Stewart, Brad Lander. Lander got arrested like a week ago.
Hell yeah.
Friedland.
Yeah, he's been starting to go to like these ICE immigration like hearings and stuff. So people who are literally trying to apply for citizenship and do their hearings and stuff like that. He's gone to like 3 of them. He's just been walking them in and walking them out so they can get to their families. And 100% it was totally supposed to be staged this way because they don't like. This was still in the peak of the LA shit. He got arrested. Like, literally, there's a million different camera angles of him trying to walk out this guy who tried to do it the legal way after his hearing. And ICE agents just went and took him. He's still in custody right now.
He is?
Yeah.
Lander?
Wait, who?
No, not Brad Lander, but the guy whose hearing it was. Brad Lander was there to support and walk him out to his family. He got taken, and Brad Lander was like, this is entirely illegal. Like, you have no grounds to do this. And then they took Brad Lander in, too, because he was trying to, like, stop them. So they took Brad Lander, and Brad Lander was, like, in custody for, like, 2-3 hours. During that time, they were in, a press conference in New York, and, like, his wife spoke up and said, we'll be fine. We're privileged enough. Like, I'm more so feeling for his family. And then, sure enough, Brad Lander got released from custody and said the exact same thing later on that day. He was like, I was in custody. I knew my life was going to be okay and my rights were going to be respected and shit. Like, I was good for the good 3-4 hours I was in custody. But, like, that other person's still going to be there. You know what I mean? He's still there right now.
While we're on the topic of ICE, ICE is still out here doing shitty things. ICE is still out here arresting full U.S. citizens, people with no criminal record, holding them for up to 3 years.
But before you get too far into it, let me just add, Brad Lander did what Elizabeth Warren should have fucking done in 2020, by the way. She never dropped out of that fucking primary, and she was always polling at like 10 to 15%, and it basically cost Bernie that primary. She refused to drop out and endorse Bernie. And Brad Lander just basically knew he wasn't going to win, but it, promoted Zohran and never backed off that either. He had every chance to just be like, no, he is anti-Semitic and you shouldn't vote for him. But no, he stuck by his side the whole way. But, yeah.
Hey, but you listening, if you see ICE in your neighborhood, there are 6 things. 6 things you need to let people know about. Because what has been happening is when ICE does show up in a neighborhood, it goes out on social media, the word spreads, hey, ICE is in the neighborhood. What also happens is ICE isn't actually in your neighborhood. They're not actually there, but the call still goes out, and that panic and that fear spreads. So if ICE is in your neighborhood, is in your area, the 6 things that you need to communicate. The acronym is SALUTE, SALUTE. I don't love that, but it's what it is, SALUTE. S, the size and strength, how many of them there are. A, actions and activity, what they're doing. L, location and direction, where they're at, where they're headed. U, uniform and clothes, what they're dressed in, how you can identify them. T, time and date of observation. If it's today, say it's today. If it was last week, say it was last week. And E, equipment and weapons. What firearms do they have on you? What do they got in their holsters? What type of vests and body armor do they got? So we want to spread information. We don't want to spread panic. Those are the important details you want to spread across if you are reporting that ICE is in your area. Thank you.
It also, pay attention to what papers they show you, because they'll come through with, I think they're called administrative warrants, where ICE themselves will make out the warrant and sign it themselves. That doesn't allow them to enter your property. They need an actual warrant from a judge. So, like, pay attention to what papers they're showing you.
If ICE agents try to use excessive force, there's no, especially since they're starting to hide their faces, there's no idea if they're actually sanctioned by the government. Fight them physically if you got enough people.
That's a choice you got to make yourself, but
We don't condone any of that.
I do.
there have been situations.
Out the window is not responsible for any actions of any individual.
There have been multiple situations of impersonators who people take advantage of the fact that they're covering their faces and not showing last names, not showing badge numbers or any sort of identification, and randos from the street have been walking out and acting as if they were.
Protect your neighbors.
Guinse.
You know the best way to fight ICE? Insult them. Call them ugly,
The amount of videos of neighborhoods chasing ICE out.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
There's been so many of those. In California, there was a neighborhood chanting shame at them, and they packed up and left. At the Dodgers Stadium, they chased them out.
I remember that.
There was a fire truck. The fire truck pushed them out. Strength in numbers, strength in community. Communities can push ICE out of your neighborhood. It works.
Calling people ugly is not illegal, by the way, either. You can just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you fight.
Out the window doesn't condone anything.
Yeah, listen to him.
Not listen to him. We can't. We're not doing calls to violence on the
I
show.
didn't say that. I said protect.
You did not.
Protect.
You said fight them.
Self-defense.
Hey,
Defend your community.
the motto of Pride Month, be out, be proud, but at the end of the day, you got to be safe. If safety is the most important, make sure you're moving right, make sure you're in a good spot, make sure you're protected, make
friends
sure you got people
everywhere.
at your back.
I have friends everywhere. Die for the cause.
Jesus Christ.
much
that was an
opium.
Andor reference, by the way.
Too much hopium. Too much hopium.
People, I told you,
Ready to die.
I told you about this, where people at the protests and stuff had the signs that said, "I have friends everywhere."
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I'm. This is the closest I've ever come to wanting to get that like rebel
The
rebel,
logo.
rebel logo tattooed somewhere.
Just
Yeah,
on
right
your
here.
ass cheek.
Hand?
Yeah, right here.
I was gonna say shoulder. That's a hell of a place.
Nah, put
It
right
is.
there.
It is like because it's like a circle with like a design on it, so it would be like a good shoulder one or like a good ass cheek one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
What-
man.
Big
good
circle.
good view for them when they're clapping them. You just have no hair on your hand.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a little bit there.
Huh.
So I'm gonna get like I'll probably get like the fucking rebel logo right here, and then the acronym of I have friends everywhere. I have friends everywhere.
How committed
Or
to the cause
everywhere.
are you though? Are you willing to get a Zohran portrait on your back?
Listen, we were talking
Like the
yesterday.
Steve-O one.
Yeah.
Just him.
Yeah.
Listen, Zoran's got to do some shit first. He was elected, but like, let's see him actually. Like,
Was he?
have-
He wasn't elected.
He's-
He was
Oh,
primary.
fair enough.
He's
fair enough.
beautiful.
Let's see
That's
him
what
have.
he's
He
done.
let's
is.
see
He's a
him-
beautiful man.
Let's see him cause the rent freezes.
smiles
He's
a
been
lot.
promising. He's been promising those rent freezes.
Rub
Let's
one
see
out
him
for
do it.
Zohran tonight.
What does he have to do to be successful in your opinion? Like what of his campaign does he have to do?
Punch a cop?
Oh,
Oh, that's a good one. Do like two
I don't think
of
he
the
promised
things.
that.
Do like two of the things he promised. Like rent freezes was a guarantee. He said. In any-
LGBTQIA plus protections.
Oh man, that would be great.
Would be
That-
dope.
Well, that'll be like a day one thing, to be honest.
Didn't he say he would arrest
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu if he
Yeah.
stepped foot in?
That
New
won't
York?
happen though.
Nah, why not? Can you imagine if the
It
if
won't
the
happen.
mayor of a city was like, "You're a criminal. You step foot in on our soil. I'm having our police arrest you."
That
Do that to Trump. Like
I mean-
honestly, like if Trump ever comes back to New York, his disgraced ass comes
What the
back to New
fuck?
York.
If he had ICE agents criminally prosecuted, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Personally, the individual,
He said they won't cooperate with ICE. So
that's a great step, not cooperating, but like,
to a certain degree, though, he can only do so much. You know,
Nah, fuck that.
can he
do
have
it all.
individuals be criminally prosecuted?
his DA potentially could.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, but same with the whole Netanyahu thing. Like, we are not signed on to the ICC, whatever it is. So we're not like part of that. So we're not part of the international
Arrest
criminal court.
Netanyahu.
He just doesn't have the grounds for it.
The grounds are fuck you. That's the grounds.
What are we doing here?
What?
Grounds of fuck you.
You need grounds to convict someone. You don't need grounds to arrest somebody.
How about this?
Yeah, you do.
Hold on. Tit for tat. Eye for an eye.
100%.
We're literally talking about. We're
They
talking about.
don't do it all the time, but you need grounds to arrest somebody.
We're talking about
Resisting
ICE
arrest.
We're
We're
trying to arrest
you.
them, and
You don't
then
have grounds to arrest me. That's resisting.
Fuck a primary charge.
So we're talking about how ICE is doing all this unlawful shit. Trump does all this unlawful shit, and then you're like, nah, we gotta stay by the boundaries of the law that no one else
I'm
is
just
fucking
being realistic.
following.
If Netanyahu
Put
wants
his
to go
ass
to,
in cuffs.
They're arresting judges out here. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just letting you guys know, if Netanyahu wants to go to New York, he will go to New York, and nothing will be done about it.
And Zoran, the king, the god, the goat, is gonna arrest his ass.
What
Could
if
you imagine? He just shows up and Zohran is they're meeting him on the tarmac.
Yeah. Zoran's like, hello, sir. Like,
Time's up, bucko.
time's
He's
up,
talking
bitch.
like Joe Biden.
throw him to the crowd and shit. Just let him get shanked or something.
What?
Be nice.
What if the streets yell that he gets no pussy and chant it over and over?
That motherfucker speaks English, too. He's from Pennsylvania. Yeah. Haven't you ever noticed every time he does speeches, he speaks in English, not in Hebrew? Because the motherfuckers trying to speak to Americans, not Israelis. Fucking cowards. Attacked Iran and then immediately were like, America, please help us.
Did y'all see the tweet that was Pearl Harbor but worded the same way as Trump's tweet?
What?
No.
It was like, our plane successfully made it to Hawaii and made it back. This is the time for peace.
Oh my god. That shit is wild. we attacked you, now the time's for peace. Could you imagine?
No hitbacks.
Yeah, could you imagine after like 9/11 they're like, all right.
Who, the Bush administration?
Oh my god, I saw a good one earlier. I'm not saying it on here though.
Join our Patreon to hear the most juicy parts.
I saw such a good one. Oh.
Do you need that?
No.
Join the Patreon for the after show.
Do we want to cover at all anything that's not political on this episode?
I still gotta talk about Iran.
Yeah.
Oh, you were just talking about, all right, go
Iran.
No, I want to start this with one of my normie friends. I'm calling him a normie friend, and he watches the podcast sometimes. So if you're watching this, you know who you are.
Shout out.
He called me this morning right away, and he's like, "What the fuck is Israel doing?" Like that guy does not like really pay attention to like politics and stuff. And just out of nowhere, I get a call. He's like, "What?" And obviously, this happened like multiple days ago too. So he's even late to like this news.
Hey.
But he calls me. He's like, "What the fuck is Israel doing?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "They had a ceasefire and now they're like just attacking Iran in the middle of it." And I'm like, "That's what they do." Like they've broken like 80 some ceasefires in like the last 10 years or something. Like that's just, if you're surprised Israel's breaking ceasefires at this point, like I got a bridge to sell you. That Iran shit is wild though. Well, for one, for like 40 years now, since like the 80s, they've been claiming Iran's like a couple weeks away from a nuke, and it's been like 40 years of them saying like they're about to get a nuke. And when other countries are like developing their nuclear programs, it's taken them like 3 to 5 years to develop nukes. It's been 40s in Iran of them trying to develop a nuke, and it still hasn't happened.
There's no way that's not just the same old excuse repackaged
100%.
all over again. It's
our own intelligence agencies have said they don't think Iran has tried to develop a nuclear weapon since 2003. They just came out and said this. They're like, they haven't tried anything since 2003.
Wasn't the leader of their nuclear program assassinated not too long ago?
Yeah. Well, and then
That set them back like 50 more years.
they're not even trying though.
Their
That's
number
the
one
thing.
Scientist is dead. Took them 40 years to do it.
They're not even trying, right? What they're claiming they're doing is trying to get nuclear energy operational. The enrichment process for both is different though, and that's why it's a lot harder to develop nuclear weapons than it is to just do nuclear energy. But the head of their nuclear program, I think there was one assassinated a couple of years ago, but one just got assassinated now within the last week or two by Israel.
And we're learning that they missed, or like the missile did not hit, where it wasn't a successful mission.
Well, the one main base, it starts with an F, is literally a bunker. It's Top Gun Maverick. It's literally that scene where it's underneath the ground, like very, very deep. And the intelligence agency, the second it happened, were like, there's no missiles that are getting through there. The estimation to actually hit that bunker is that you would need to drop like 80 missiles directly on top of it. And we dropped 12 on 3 different bases. We dropped 12 like total.
And it also came out that the Pentagon fed Trump fake times and a fake plan so that he wouldn't leak it.
Oh my god.
And then he did his best to like live tweet the fucking invasion. I saw I believe they fed him fake details because, like, if we give him the real details, then he will give the enemy heads up through Twitter.com
I just
or
that-
X.com.
I just
That
love
did
the,
happen.
I love the idea of him just is such a dumbass. His own people are under him are just like, okay, we just gotta give him some shit.
Yeah.
So just
Oh, we're
send
gonna
him
do it
around.
Thursday. Let's do it Wednesday.
Because the morning of some attack we were carrying out got leaked through Pete Hegseth, like exactly down to the dot. It was like 8:30. We're doing this. 8:45.
Yeah,
this
everyone
is
knows that
happening.
one.
Yeah.
When Signalgate happened a couple months ago.
Yeah. I forget what that was against. Maybe the Yemenis. I don't know.
Yemen.
Yeah, the Houthis.
Fun fact, adding gate to the end of things is a false suffix. It came from Watergate, which was just the name of the place.
Right.
And we started adding gate to the end of things, which gate does not hold that meaning, but we've done it enough that it now holds that meaning. So we
Cool.
did it wrong at first. Like the plural of foot is feet, but like little kid will say foots. Like they'll make it plural. That same thing happened with us putting gate on the end of things. We just did it so much that now that's what that means.
And you get what it is.
We
Like,
implanted
yeah.
the meaning in. We did it wrong enough that it's right now. Quick
Yep.
little linguistics fun fact.
Linguistics expert right here. The main examples I can think of with that are two examples. They aren't really relevant to you because you don't really follow football like that. But the last two big football cheating scandals that ever
Inflategate?
or Deflategate.
Deflategate.
Deflategate, and then before that was even bigger, was Spygate, like 20 years, 15 years before that.
There
one.
was a Pizzagate at some point.
Pizzagate. Yeah, that one was political, but I was just thinking about the football ones, both centered around Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Spygate,
cheaters.
when they were like deliberately spying on other teams' practices, and then Deflategate.
I've seen Pitch Perfect too. I know what you're talking about.
By the way, can we all agree what Richard Nixon did with Watergate? No one would give a single fuck about today.
No, Richard Nixon would still be president. He wouldn't even resign.
The
He'd just be like,
goalposts are down the street and around the corner. It's fucking.
Nobody
Are you
would
sure?
care.
I'm pretty sure they moved it since then.
That shit is wild. Like, people are probably doing that all the time now anyway.
Yeah.
Like, people have said that before. Like, I saw this, like, it's probably not even AI created, but, like, just an image of, like, Trump and a bunch of other, like, Republican-based, like, presidents in the past. And it's like, they would think you're disgraceful. It's like, even if Reagan was in the same room as you, you'd be like, you're disgusting. Like, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Like, and, like, you disgust me. Like, I don't like anything that you do. Like, they could easily get swayed to come around to, like, that level of corruption, but at the same time, they didn't exist in that world, so it's like, they wouldn't want to be in the same room as a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
That on the Adam Friedland show, you had Anthony Weiner on, and they bring that up. They're like, this wouldn't even be, like, a big deal, like, today, my scandal. And it's like, yeah, no, it wouldn't. And then he makes, like, a little joke. He's like, yeah, because my last name's Weiner, it became, like, a big deal. And then Adam says something like, yeah, Matt Gaetz was like trafficking like children and stuff, and he's still like he's still like a relevant figure. And he's like, well, yeah. Anthony Weiner made a joke. He was like, well, yeah, if his name was like
Yeah, I saw that part.
if his name was like Matt Kidfucker, it would have been a big deal or whatever. But no.
Let's do it.
Oh, what are we at anyway?
An hour.
Oh, we're good.
No, we can do a little more.
On what?
I really wanted to talk about Superman again.
And we will be back after these short messages.
Wait, I thought we agreed before if you had to take a bathroom break, we would just do it.
When I did that before, y'all got weird about it.
But then
I did that, and y'all.
First off, I didn't get weird, but at the same time, we had never taken a stop before. And yeah, we've like in the past, like we decided then we were like, yeah, we could just do that. All right, let's talk about Superman. Even though the main reason
I got nothing else to say about Superman.
I know the main reason why I wanted to talk about Superman was I had like one final like plea for him to like Superman.
Oh.
I was gonna mention Skeet, which by the way is the first like nom de guerre we've used this entire episode. We haven't said anyone else's nickname. Anyway, I was gonna be like you don't understand. Like Superman is just a regular. The best part about Superman is that he's just a dude. Like he's just a regular guy. Like not even like someone who's like outstanding in his regular life. Like imagine he's so regular as a guy. Is that just what also makes him so relatable and so great? Is that it's like being Superman is like his day job. You know what I mean? It's like he's just another dude. Like
I don't think this appeal is gonna work for him.
I was gonna be like, to be honest with you, in real life, he'd be like Skeet. Like Skeet would be Superman. Like not the most not the one in the group that's most boisterous and commands the most attention. He's just kind of there. And then it's like when you find out he's Superman, it's like, what the fuck? You've been Superman this whole time? It's just like, yeah. Would he not be Skeet amongst all the people you know?
Everybody who reads comics or knows anything about Superman already knows that about Superman.
There's some anti-Superman people that don't understand the character. There's a decent little chunk. That's why he kind of. That's not fully why he lost popularity.
Like everybody knows, like Clark Kent's a loser. Like that's just what.
I
that's
didn't
like
say a
the
loser.
thing that everybody
He's more
knows.
like a regular guy, not a loser.
He's a loser.
He's not a loser.
He's supposed to be like clumsy and
Peter's a loser.
This
Peter
is all
Parker's
staying
a
in
loser.
there.
Peter Parker's a loser. Peter Parker is a loser.
Sure.
In the comics. Clark Kent's just a dude.
Bruce Wayne and the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, he's a loser.
He's a recluse. Let's not call him.
He's kind of an incel.
No.
You see that girl touches him, and he's like, you can see him kind of like getting a little nervous.
So,
it's like, ooh.
but no, that was my last rationale. I was thinking about that over the past week or so. I was like, he would
And
be like
he let
Skeet.
her slip through his fingers too.
He's fine.
What? Him?
Catwoman.
He's an incel.
He's not an incel.
He hasn't gotten any for like years at this point.
or ever.
Or ever. He could be a virgin.
Stop fucking around. I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Yeah, I am too. I'm talking about Batman's inceldom.
Digress.
How's that a digression?
That's a digression.
We're talking about loser superheroes. I brought up maybe the coolest loser superhero.
So what's funny is up until recent modern comics over the last like 18 years, Peter Parker was actually a pretty good example of like a coming of age story and you growing out of all your awkwardness and loserdom from like your teenage years. Like he was more of an example of like, I didn't peak in high school. Like there are whole comics where it's like, oh, it's my class reunion. Let me show them how hot my wife is, MJ, who's like a supermodel. Like he's done great for himself. He looks good. He's in great shape. You know what I mean? It's like he's ran like $1 billion business in the past. Like, but in recent times in comics, they've kind of butchered the character. So
his one girlfriend dies.
Yeah, yes, yeah. But like that happened in college. Whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's so long ago.
Yeah, whatever.
Just
Would
that
you?
very traumatizing thing.
We're years out of college. How would you feel if that had happened to you from a girl from like 8 years ago when you were like 20?
That would fuck you up for life.
Yeah, but for 8 years later, you have a whole nother girlfriend. You're still crying about.
Not crying, but like that would still be like.
Okay, well, for a lot of writers in the comics, they're just like, oh my god, I'm still crying over Gwen. Like,
well,
when he got married to MJ, he like was just thinking about Gwen the whole night before, and like was just swinging around the city. Went back to the bridge where she died at, and was just crying and shit. Just like.
that sounds like my front door. No. Well, Austin had many girlfriends in high school. That's
Nips.
no, Austin.
He did. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how
if one of your girlfriends in high school died in a very traumatic way, would that still like kind of fuck you up today?
Yeah.
Which
of
one?
course.
Which one?
Yeah, name them.
All of them.
Oh, okay. Would it really,
way
though?
to play in the
Like
middle.
while I'm with them?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
no.
like
while-
we're
yeah,
like we're
while you're
actively
with
dating. It's
Yeah,
not like we
yeah.
broke up a year
It's
ago.
actually at
Yeah.
the peak of your relationship. too,
Yeah.
where you
all
like
of
each
all
other.
of them.
You love them. You're planning on
Would that-
marrying
Yes,
them.
all of them.
That would
Yeah.
still fuck you up today that bad that it would have ruined your next.
There'd be
relationship?
lingering things. I'd probably be over most of it. Like I'd be at a
Okay,
point where I could
that's-
handle
It
it,
would
but
probably have like weird ramifications though, where you're like way too overprotective of like your current partner.
there'd probably
or
be
whatever.
insecurities of like
And-
drive safe, no for real, drive safe.
And then also, like, your current girlfriend, say, of, like, right now, was best friends with the girlfriend that died.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like that's we might be trauma bonded.
So.
What's this referring to?
Peter Parker, Spider-Man in the comics.
So
So,
we were talking about loser superheroes.
yeah, so, like, I don't know how we digress hard. But the point is
You brought up Spider-Man.
Gwen Stacy died when Peter was dating Gwen Stacy, obviously, and like that was when he was in college. He was like 20, 21-ish, maybe. He wasn't even probably 21. I think he was 21 when she died. Peter's like a 30-plus-year-old man now, and he's been with Mary Jane on and off for the better part of like a decade plus.
Upside down kiss and all that.
Yeah. But they were all friends since college. In fact, that was a big turning turning point in the comics for like Mary Jane's character, who up to that point through the 70s, like the 60s and 70s, she's just a party girl. She just seemed like very ditzy and like very shallow and hollow of a character of just like, I just like to party and go out and shit. But when Gwen died and Peter really needed somebody, like Mary Jane like stuck with them and everything else and helped them through that.
Is that trauma bonding? Is it not?
For sure around that time. But they didn't get together for like a little bit after that. Like it wasn't immediate of like, oh, Gwen's dead. 3 issues later, I'm with Mary Jane. But there's a lot of comic writers now that still there's plenty of comic writers just in general that still want to reference Gwen, and we were just kind of talking about how like at some point you're just focused on Mary Jane. You're not like you're never gonna forget
I did not agree.
Gwen. Yeah, you're never gonna forget Gwen. But the way how they reference Gwen, like he's had like a decade and he's had like 15 more years to like. He also knew Mary Jane before he knew Gwen. Like they went on dates before he knew Gwen. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially, do you know about Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Flip.
How Gwen dies there.
Flip.
You're not explaining whether or not you know it. That could just be a general Spider-Man reference.
I'm familiar with the flip.
She's falling down a very tall building, and he tries to save her.
What does he do?
I just saw a meme about that too, about the
does he
hand
do?
web
Okay.
thing.
What does he do?
So you do know what
does he do?
Yeah, okay. He
Say
shoots
it.
the web at her.
Yeah, get that shit out of here. He shoots the web? What's he do?
What? He shoots the web at her.
Get that out of here.
What?
Flip.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So,
tried as hard as
so
he
as she's falling, he tries to save her by shooting a web at her, the thwip.
Yes.
And then he does catch her, but he's too late. She still hits the ground. That's like how she dies in all the comics.
Actually, it's actually worse than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's actually, since you have no context for either one.
Did he put her in harm's way?
Well, here's what I'll say. In the comics,
Sounds like a yes.
In the comics, when he uses his web to catch her, he just snaps her neck. Like the force of her falling for however long and the velocity snaps her neck. There's a snap and everything.
So he killed her, technically.
Yes.
Trying to save her, but...
And in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, she smacks her skull up against the floor.
Like he's just like a second too late.
Like
he does save her, but it's like the second he hits her.
This is a meme I saw just yesterday. This was from Amazing Spider-Man 2, the movie, when they did it. It's literally like a hand web.
Yeah.
This didn't need to go this hard. So they added that to the movie of like just, oh, fuck. Yeah, you didn't catch her in enough time, like head trauma. But the key thing for 50 plus years in the comics is he's like, I killed her. Because she would have just been falling beforehand and stuff. But, like, I used the web and it just fucking snapped. It's rough.
But no, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, he was just too late. It's like a second too late. That would fuck you up for the rest of your life, though.
Yeah, that's trauma.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. And he's trying to say you'd be over that
No,
like
I'm not.
5 to
In a
7
way,
years later.
you'd have to move past
Yeah,
it.
you would be
develop
past it.
Coping
That's what I'm saying.
mechanisms,
For
like,
sure.
you'd find some peace with it, but not all the
Like,
way.
Here's what I'm getting at. Like,
In the
by
newest
the 90s,
Spider-Man, he's still torn up about it.
Hold on, but that's what I'm getting at. Hold on. By the 90s, here's what I'm getting. I'm using comic accurate. You're going off the films.
You're talking like 100
Like,
years.
I'll put it to you like this. At some point, Peter and MJ are, like, fully married. It's been, like, in the comics, 20 years, at least 10 since she fucking died. And certain comic book writers that didn't want to get over the Gwen death because they didn't want MJ and Peter to be together. That's a whole nother discussion. They didn't want those two characters to be together. Their way how they would always sow dissent is like, yeah, I'm still just thinking about Gwen and shit. And it's like, he's like low-key still thinking about Gwen. He's known MJ since before he knew Gwen. Like,
That
he knew
doesn't
MJ
matter.
first.
That doesn't
He
matter.
dated Gwen, and then he got back with MJ and married her and had a kid.
But yeah.
You're not just sitting there going like, but still, though, the one, like, both of you, not me, both of you two dated chicks in high school and shit. You're not just sitting here a decade plus later like, oh, but yeah, that one that got away when I was a fucking teenager.
No, the one who I killed trying to save her, or
That would be what gets you.
alternatively
Not just,
almost saved.
yeah. It's not just, we broke up and I'm still torn up about it. They died while in my arms.
They did die.
That'd mess you up. That'd stay with you. And she was probably in harm's way because she was with Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, if she was yeah.
Green. It's a lot like Spider-Man 1. That's what that reference is on the bridge. Is referencing the death of Gwen Stacy, even though that was Mary Jane.
Also, in Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales, what's the girl in the white suit's name?
Spider-Gwen.
Gwen.
That's Gwen Stacy.
Does she die in that version?
That's the only version that doesn't die. In fact, that's in. I don't know how many times you've seen the sequel
It's the
across.
opposite.
I don't know if you've ever seen the sequel across the. I mean, how many times we saw it together? The first time you saw it, but I don't know how many times you've seen Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, when we all went that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that awesome line when it ended, and you were like, "All right, run the next one. Start
yeah.
the next movie."
That was supposed to come out a year later.
Yeah, because it ended on a cliffhanger. Anyway, they actually reference in Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel, that in every other universe, Gwen Stacy dies, and then it's up. Gwen Stacy getting with Spider-Man doesn't end well, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
she dies.
Well, Peter dies in her universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
But that's the same character technically, except she got spider powers in that universe.
Yeah.
Is she the what's the Loki term? The ultimate being.
Loki?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Canon event or whatever.
Who's the person that if they die, the universe dies? The anchor.
The
Yeah.
anchor
person-
being?
Anchor being.
Yeah.
Is Peter usually the anchor being, but in that universe, Gwen is the anchor being?
Probably.
They made it seem like all of the because they made it seem like in Across the Spider-Verse that all the anchor beings are whoever has to who has to die, like whoever the Uncle Ben is of each universe.
And then it transfers to someone else?
No, it's usually like the Peter of the universe.
Oh wait, we're also talking about we didn't even realize we just conflated two different movies.
Yeah,
Anchor
you're
being in
talking
that
about Loki.
concept is about Deadpool and Wolverine.
But is it the same universe?
No. Because in Across the Spider-Verse, what's his name, Miguel? He's talking about how there's like the anchor people or whatever, and when they die, that dimension gets closed.
That's the same thing from Loki, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm thinking about Deadpool.
Well, yeah,
and
it's
it's
the same there
thing
too.
from Deadpool. Yeah.
Huh.
But
you saw Loki?
No, I just know about
but
it.
but it's the same in Deadpool.
I don't need to
but-
watch something to know about it.
But that's the whole premise of Across the Spider-Verse was Peter dies in Miles' universe and he was the anchor being, and now the dimension was all out of whack because their anchor
and he
person
got them all
was
to
dead.
chase him, and then
But-
he doubled back, and then
Yeah.
whoop, whoop, thwip. Oh.
But only in that specific scenario. Most of the time, it was the Uncle Bens, like the father figures. Because remember, in Spider-Man India, he saves the dad of Spider-Man India's girlfriend, and then that was fucked up because the canon event was he was supposed to die, and then the big rift came between Miles and Spider-Man 2099 because Miles found out that his dad, the cop, is gonna have to be killed by the Spot, and then he was like, "No, I'm gonna stop that from happening." And then they had the big fight about it. They was like, and he was
No,
like,
you can't do that.
You don't realize Uncle Ben's, and then they showed all the clips. All Uncle Ben's die, the father figures die in like 99% of these. So it's a canon event. It has to happen.
Doesn't his dad die anyway?
In the comics, his mom dies from Venom.
Oh,
Yeah, it's more fucked up.
in the game, his dad dies.
I don't know. Spoilers.
Sorry,
Asshole.
it happens super early.
All right. Well, yeah, I care less then. No,
You want some more?
my rationale, I had like one last Superman argument. Probably not going to matter too much, but just to sell you on the character specifically, is just the way how, the whole point of Superman is how humanistic he is in spite of his powers. It's very much like Steve Rogers, Captain America on him in the MCU, which is like a great representation of what Superman really is, and that's just like a regular dude. He's just a guy.
You don't lose
Like-
your humanity, even if you're super strength, super speed, all that.
Yeah, like if he was sitting here
Or
right
an
next,
alien.
if he was sitting in this,
Ah.
if he was sitting in this like room right now, he would be the last person you actually expected to be Superman, regardless of like his attributes, like being like 6'3" and built as shit. Like he's just a fucking dude. And the main example that I was thinking just randomly throughout the week was like he'd be like Skeet. He'd be like Skeet in the group or some shit. It'd be like Yeah. That's what I'm saying is him. It's not like he's the most like boisterous one that stands out in the group. It's more so like he's just a fucking dude. He's just a guy, chill guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't offend anybody. And then it's like you find out he's Superman. It's like, oh my god, wait a minute, you're Superman this whole time? Oh yeah, I'm Superman. By the way, like he'd be like Skeet. That's like the biggest example.
Skeet could do anything he wants to do.
Skeet
He
is
may
Superman.
be Superman.
That's what I'm getting at.
Nothing
I think
would
he's in
shock
Milwaukee
me.
right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing would shock me from that guy.
Nope.
You could tell me anything about him, and I would believe it.
So, Game 7. The finals don't usually go to Game 7.
I know, crazy, right? About to happen. It's coming up real soon. Yeah. I was going off the premise that Austin had no idea when Game 7 was or what it is.
Oh wait, that's what you said?
I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
The
I've already
championship
used
was
up-
decided 4 days ago.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. A hell of a game. They played their hearts out. You know, each side wanted it, but the only one can come through in the end,
Yeah, very true.
which was
The
Indiana.
fans.
Indiana.
The fans came through.
Indiana.
Yeah, SGA
The
tore his
pa-
Achilles.
The Pacers won.
Yeah. SGA tore his Achilles. There's a shootout in the stands.
In
fight.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Either way, the Snow Bunnies won. Regardless of who's holding up that Finals MVP, whether it be Tyrese or SGA's, the Snow Bunnies.
He has a
winning.
white girl?
Yeah, you
SGA?
didn't- Yeah, you didn't know. You haven't seen his wife?
He has a wife?
Yeah, he has a child too. He has a light skinned son.
Damn. Did you see that parade?
The Snow Bunnies was out. Yeah, it looked lit. Honestly, SGA looked lit.
Wait, did you see the one, though, where all the fans were behind, like, a giant chain link fence? And it just looked like the shittiest parade I've ever seen in my life, though.
Oh no, I didn't see that part. I saw him fucking around with the fans because he was clearly like shirtless and drunk.
Yeah. No, there's one, though, where there's just, like, a group of, like, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen fans behind a chain link fence, and SGA walks over and is, like, touching their hands over the top of this, like, 6-foot-tall fence. It's like, this is the worst parade I've ever seen in my life.
The Snow Bunnies won this round, y'all.
Hmm.
Nah,
I
it's
didn't-
fine. We're
I didn't know about that.
We're pro Snow Bunny on this podcast. Your reactions tells me that I think you know what that means.
I do.
Oh yeah, we're
doesn't
we're
know?
pro Snow Bunnies on this podcast. we're good with you, SGA and fucking Tyrese. Tyrese has been with his girlfriend since they were in college together. Like, it was funny when Tyrese Halliburton made the finals, so like it's the pinnacle of all the eyes being on you. Everybody just started pulling up his old TikToks from college from when he knew his girlfriend way back then. They were like, just see this guy doing these random stupid ass dances with these chicks, and that man's in the NBA finals right now.
Hey.
He's doing these girly ass TikToks where he's doing these stupid dances with his girlfriend or his future girlfriend. I think they were just friends for a really long time. And now this guy is about to lead a team to the NBA fucking championships. He's just the negative of like the like traditional masculine thing that you got going on with like basketball players. And it's just like here's Tyrese on TikToks like 4 years ago doing this shit. Yeah, no, SJ's been with his wife now since they were like in high school. They're like high school sweethearts.
Well, he is an old man, so
He's 2 years younger than us.
I think he's only 1.
No, he's 26.
Is he?
Yeah.
All I know is he's older than you think he is.
He is shockingly older than you think. He looks 19.
True. Yeah.
Looks like one of our kids.
And everybody talks about him like he's like a sophomore or something.
Yeah, they talk about him like he's so young. He's been in the league like 7 years.
He's got the Jason Tatum treatment.
Yeah. Nah, Jason Tatum looks old now because of the beard.
I know, but you remember the meme was for years like, well, he's only 19. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean,
get
if
better.
if we're being honest, Jason Tatum's still young. He's still younger than us. He's 27, dude.
If someone's younger than us, they will always be younger than us.
No, but I'm saying like he's still like a baby to a
I know,
degree.
but you said he's still younger than us.
He's kind of like a baby, man. Like we've been through
He
shit.
will be
hasn't-
younger than us for the rest of our lives.
But like I'm saying,
Unless
like
we die.
he's like a baby to us, you know.
Someone had some ideas earlier.
Even though that man has a son, and we don't have that.
You don't know me.
I got a son.
My son's right
I
fucking
haven't
here.
seen him in a while.
Right here.
You haven't. That's right. You haven't seen your son in a while. Your son is a dog, and I have a random son I haven't met who's Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican in Wisconsin. I say that. I've been saying that for like 5 years. I gotta go see that fucker. He was a newborn then. He can walk and shit now.
Nah, just go to high school graduation. You're good.
Hey,
Ask him for money.
I'm rich, and I'm just like, hey, you got like a couple bucks.
Took a lot of gas getting up here, man.
What?
God.
Happy belated Father's Day. Happy Pride. Be safe out there, y'all.
It'd be weird to have a son named Eduardo.
Inshallah.
Or some shit.
Inshallah.
Is that a Puerto Rican name?
Be safe out
It's
there.
White
Move
boy
smart.
jihad summer.
I don't know if what's up is what's down anymore. We're getting some hopium, y'all.
Connect with your community.
We're right side up, y'all.
All right. Everybody enjoy their Sharia law.
Woo!
Bye bye.
One day, I'll be.
Fuck you, Cuomo! Fuck! What was the quote?
You get no pussy.
Cuomo get no pussy! Cuomo get no pussy! Cuomo get no pussy!